Hello, my friends. How are you feeling today? Before we begin, take a slow breath with me. In for 4, out for 4. If you enjoy health tips told like a comforting story, please subscribe now and tap the bell so you never miss a gentle reminder that your body and mind are worth caring for. Today, I want to invite you into a simple idea that saved many of my patients from the foggy mornings that steal our joy. A 3-minute ritual that says to your heart, your joints, and your mood, you matter. Imagine waking up tomorrow and knowing exactly how to start, not with a sprint, but with a soft hello to your body. Picture a glass of water by the bed catching the morning light. You sit up slowly, place your feet on the floor, and sip just enough to wake your circulation, not to shock it. You roll your ankles in quiet little circles, the way we wind a clock before a favorite radio show. In that tiny moment, you aren't exercising. You are voting for your future, one small movement at a time. I've seen this change people who swore they weren't morning folks. Eleanor, 72, told me she used to start her day with worry. She'd count the tasks, the aches, the news headlines. We made a deal. Before any headline, she would find a sunbeam. She opened her curtains, looked toward the sky, not to stare into the sun, but to let natural light kiss her eyelids for a minute or two. Then she breathed the way we practiced. 4 counts in, 6 counts out, imagining she was fogging up a winter window, slow and even. Within a week, her blood pressure readings were gentler in the mornings, but what truly delighted her was the way her mind felt less crowded. She started humming again when she watered her plants. It wasn't magic. It was biology meeting kindness. You might wonder, can 3 minutes do anything for arthritis or the tightness in your lower back? Here's a quiet truth from decades of clinical practice. Our joints love predictability and lubrication. When you gently move them after a night's rest without forcing or bouncing you, invite synovial fluid to glide across cartilage like oil on a trusted hinge. I once accompanied a retired carpenter, Luis, 68, who missed the rhythm of his workshop. We shaped a 3-minute joint song he could hum while he moved, neck side to side like greeting neighbors, shoulders drawing small circles as if polishing a favorite table, wrists flexing as though he were wringing out a soft cloth, hips shifting weight from one foot to the other. He didn't break a sweat. He kept his dignity. After a month, he told me the creaks felt less personal, as if his body had forgiven him for growing older. There is something spiritual about choosing to begin softly. The world will have its demands. The phone will chime, the errands will stack up. But in those first moments, you are your own caretaker. If you can, add a tiny note of gratitude, one sentence whispered toward the ceiling. Thank you for this heart that still learns. Not every day will feel grateful, and that's okay. The point is consistency, not perfection. If you forget one morning, don't scold yourself. Begin again the next, like returning to a favorite armchair. Now let me share a small, surprising detail that keeps people watching their progress. Make the ritual visible. Place the water glass where you can't miss it. Keep a soft hand towel on the chair you'll use for balance. Tape a little note to your curtain. Sun, breath, sip. We are forgetful on purpose. It's the brain's way of saving energy. So let your environment remember for you. Some of you are caring for a partner. Invite them into the ritual without pressure. Say, would you share a sunrise with me? If they decline, smile and do it anyway. Your steadiness may become their comfort over time. And if loneliness has become a quiet roommate, let the ritual be a companion. Name your movements like old friends, the Eleanor breath, the Louis shoulder loop. We honor ourselves by honoring our stories. You might ask about safety. Please keep movements small and comfortable, especially if you have balance concerns. Sit for the ankle circles. Hold the chair for the hip shifts. Skip anything that causes sharp pain. If dizziness visits, pause and breathe. Speak to your clinician about how this fits with your medications and conditions. I offer education, but your personal doctor is your compass. As for results, think in weeks, not days. The body keeps score with patience. One morning, you'll notice the stairs feel less argumentative. Another morning, you'll realize your mood got dressed before your clothes did. And you'll keep going, not because you must, but because the ritual has become a friend who knocks softly at your door and never judges if you answer late. Lesson distilled. We don't rebuild health with heroics we can't sustain. We rebuild it with rituals that love us back. A short morning habit water, light, breath, and small circles turns the first minutes of the day into a promise. Physiologically, you are nudging your circadian rhythm toward steadier energy, inviting blood vessels to wake up without panic, and signaling joints that the day will be a gentle conversation, not an argument. Psychologically, you are proving to yourself that you still choose, that your story isn't only about loss, but also about grace. This is how we recover the quiet courage to try again tomorrow. If this tender start resonates with you, subscribe now and share this with someone who deserves a softer morning. Leave a comment telling me the name you give your ritual. I want to cheer you on. Dear friends, take a moment to notice your body. Are you thirsty? Sometimes our cravings and afternoon slumps aren't a character flaw. They're a chemistry whisper. If you find value in these calm, practical conversations, please subscribe so our community of kind caretakers of ourselves and of each other can grow. Today, I want to talk about food as companionship, not moral judgment. I've watched the word diet make people feel small when what we need is food that helps us feel present. Picture a plate as a neighborhood. Half of it are the friendly neighbor's colorful vegetables that don't raise their voices. A quarter is the steady friend protein that keeps you company for hours. The last quarter is your energy street grains or starches that carry you down the road but don't drag you. In practice, that might look like roasted carrots and green beans smiling beside a piece of salmon or beans, with a scoop of brown rice waving at you from the corner. I remember Mrs. Patel, 75, who told me loneliness made her snack, then shame made her skip dinner. We swapped the word diet for appointment. 3 times a day, she had a date with herself. She laid out a placemat, turned on a song from her marriage, and plated food in colors. We lowered her sodium by seasoning with lemon, garlic, paprika, and a pinch of cumin. We lifted her protein gently through eggs, Greek yogurt, and lentils. We invited fiber with pears and oats. The first week, she cried because she realized she'd been eating in the shadows. The second week, she sent me a photo of a bright lunch and wrote, "I feel accompanied." This is what wise eating does. It keeps you company so you don't go hunting for comfort that never arrives. Many of you worry about sugar. Think of sugar not as a villain, but as a loud guest. We want our blood sugar to hum a lullaby, not bounce like a drum. The trick isn't perfect avoidance, it's pairing. If you love fruit, pair it with a handful of nuts or a bit of cheese. If you enjoy a small dessert after dinner, savor it slowly after your protein. That way, the meal is an orchestra, not a solo. And here is a quiet skill with great power: the pause. When you feel the urge to rummage through the pantry at 9 p.m., open your hand instead. Place it on your chest, breathe out longer than you breathed in, and ask, "Am I hungry, or am I seeking comfort?" If it's comfort, you're not failing. You're human. Try a warm tea, a phone call, a page of a favorite book. If you're truly hungry, honor it with something simple and protein-rich. This small pause saves many from the spiral of regret. I will share a grocery story. A widower named Dan, 80, used to eat canned soup nightly because it felt easy. We built him a 2-step kitchen. Step 1, wash and cut vegetables once a week. Store them in clear containers like stained glass windows, red peppers, cucumbers, spinach. Step 2, assemble friendly plates in Minot's spinach, rotisserie chicken, chickpeas, a drizzle of olive oil, and lemon. He learned to roast a sheet pan of sweet potatoes and broccoli while listening to baseball on the radio. His blood pressure drifted toward calmer shores. He told me he felt like he had a small restaurant inside his home. He began inviting a neighbor for Sunday lunch, and the food became a conversation, not a chore. For those managing diabetes or heart disease, Please coordinate with your clinician, especially about carb portions, blood thinners, and salt restrictions. My role here is to help you set a table that feels welcoming. We respect medications, we honor lab results, and we make pleasure part of the plan because joy is a nutrient too. What about supplements? They can help in specific cases, but the most underrated supplement is routine. Eating at roughly the same times helps your body anticipate glucose needs. That steadiness calms cravings and sleep, and hydration remains a faithful ally. Sip water between meals like you're watering a beloved plant. Here's a small spark of curiosity to keep you engaged. Choose a theme week. Mediterranean week with tomatoes, olives, and fish. Spice Garden week with turmeric in your eggs and cinnamon in your oatmeal. Garden Party week with soups that feel like Hug's lentil, minestrone, chicken vegetable with extra carrots. The novelty keeps the brain's reward circuits interested without sending you to extremes. Lesson distilled. Food is friendship. A plate built with color, protein, and fiber steadies blood sugar, softens blood pressure, and quiets late-night rummaging. Pair sweets with protein so your glucose hums like a lullaby, not a drum solo. Replace diet with appointments you keep with yourself, and you'll discover that routine is a kindness, not a cage. Precise choices: lemon instead of extra salt, beans alongside rice, a handful of nuts with fruit, build health not just in numbers, but in dignity. When meals feel like company, loneliness loses some of its power, and the pantry becomes a place of service, not a battlefield. If these ideas sit well with your heart, subscribe now, share this with someone who eats in the shadows, and tell me in the comments your favorite theme week. Your ideas feed this community. My steadfast friends. If you're new here, I'm so glad you found us. Please subscribe and ring the bell so our weekly stories can walk beside you. Today, let's talk about moving not to impress anyone, but to remember who you are. When we move, we borrow courage from our own muscles. Even tiny movements write our names back into our bodies. I think of Marie, 79, a retired teacher who told me she felt like her balance had betrayed her. She stopped going to choir because the church steps frightened her. We began with micro movements that didn't look like exercise. While the kettle warmed, she stood at the countertop, lifted her heels, and lowered them slowly, feeling her calves speak up. While watching her favorite show, she squeezed a folded towel between her knees 10 times to greet her thigh muscles. She practiced sitting tall, shoulders soft, chin slightly tucked, as if balancing a book again like she taught her students. 2 weeks later, she said, "I don't feel brave, but I feel present." Presence was enough to start. Movement is medicine not only for joints and hearts, but for the brain. When you contract a muscle and lengthen it with control, you feed the hippocampus, the part of the brain that files memories through better blood flow and richer chemicals like BDNF that help neurons talk to one another. That's a fancy way of saying walking under a row of trees is also a way of remembering more birthdays. I won't promise miracles, but I will promise that your brain likes to be rocked gently by your steps. Many ask me about strength at home without equipment. Your body is equipment. Stand near a chair you trust. Practice the sit to stand 5 times, slowly, using your legs more than your hands. That is a squat in a tuxedo. If that feels too much, practice the hover, rise an inch from the chair, pause for 1 heartbeat, and sit back. Your thigh muscles will applaud, quietly at first, then louder. For your upper body, press your palms into the wall, step your feet back a bit, and bend your elbows into a gentle wall push-up. If your shoulders complain, bring the hands lower and the feet closer. Do it to a favorite song and stop before it stops being beautiful. And please, balance is a skill the way knitting is a skill. We practice it with humility. Stand holding the countertop. Shift your weight to 1 foot. Lift the other heel a centimeter and feel the foot that's grounded open like a book. Count to 5. Switch sides. If you wobble, you're learning. If you need to sit, sit. We are building steadiness, not a performance. I also want to talk about the home as a teammate. Good lighting is not vanity, it's safety. A night light in the hallway is a protective friend. Scatter rugs may look charming, but many are little tricksters. Either tape them firmly or let them retire. Keep a small basket on your staircase for items going up or down later, so your hands can hold the railing now. These are not chores. These are love notes to your future self. Now, a story that lives close to my heart. A grandfather named Jorge, 82, wanted to dance at his granddaughter's wedding but feared falling. We created pocket practices he could carry anywhere. At the bus stop, he did gentle marching while holding the back of the bench. In the kitchen, he practiced stepping sideways as if he were dodging a mischievous puppy. On Sundays, he and his neighbor met at the park, where they walked the length of one song, rested for half a song, and walked another. The day of the wedding, he didn't twirl. He swayed. He stayed upright. He cried. Later, he told me, "I danced with my caution and my hope at the same time." That is what movement gives us. A duet between truth and courage. Motivation fades. Rituals remain. When you don't feel like moving, negotiate kindly. Tell yourself, "I'll do 2 minutes." Most days, 2 minutes become 5. On the tough days, 2 minutes is victory, not failure. Keep a simple log on the fridge, a calendar where you draw a small star for any movement. Watching the stars gather becomes its own encouragement. And celebrate non-scale wins. I carried the groceries with less huffing. I tied my shoes without bargaining with my back. These are the medals that matter. Lesson distilled. Consistent, gentle movement is a love story with your future. Micro movements feed balance, blood sugar, blood pressure, mood, and memory without demanding a gym. Strength can wear ordinary clothes, sit to stands, wall push-ups, heel raises woven into the day you already live. Balance grows in centimeters, not leaps. Safety at home is not fear. It is respect for the life you intend to keep living. And perhaps most important, movement is not punishment for what you ate. It is gratitude for the body that still chooses. If this spoke to you, subscribe, comment with your favorite pocket practice, and share this with someone who deserves to sway at a future wedding. We are building a village of steady steps. If you'd like more gentle, practical guides like these delivered in a calm, caring voice, please subscribe, leave a comment about which story touched you most, and share this video with a friend or family member. Your presence here matters, and I'm honored to walk beside you.